What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. How do I say, this is not the kind of video that I never wanted to make this kind of video. Obviously you never expect these things to happen in motorsport, but with the way it is, with how dangerous motorsport is a lot of the time, unfortunately these freak accidents do happen from time to time. And I'm sure I'm like many of you guys who were just absolutely shocked at the news coming from Spa this weekend that Anton Hubert unfortunately passed away due to his injuries in the F2 crash on Saturday. So I still don't know how I feel about it, to be honest. Obviously a lot of sadness, but today when I woke up I wanted to, try and cheer people up and try and make a difference, I suppose. So I thought in today's video that we'd do a tribute to the great man himself, Anton Hubert, and we'd race at some of the circuits which he got some victories in F2 this season. So we're going to be going to the Monaco Grand Prix, which you can see on screen now, and we're also going to venture off to the French Grand Prix, Hubert's home race. So yeah, I decided to do this online with the F1 2019 game. Obviously, the 2019 F2 cars aren't available yet, so we're racing in the 2018 cars. Obviously, Hubert wasn't racing this season, so we're deciding to race for his team, which is Arden. And yeah, we're just going to have some fun and just try and lighten the mood, I suppose. It has been a very sad weekend on many fronts, so just a lighthearted video, and yeah, just hopefully cheer some of you guys up. So we're going to be going to French Grand Prix. First up, we did a warm-up race at Monaco. Unfortunately, I disconnected from that race, but this time we're going to do a full-on feature race. I think it's a 25% length race, which only equates to 8 laps around this circuit, but it should be a fun race nonetheless. 5 red lights and away we go for the French Grand Prix. The game has put us on the back row of the grid for this race, so we'll see where we can climb ourselves to in this race. It'd be an absolute dream if we could actually win this race, or Monaco for that matter, but it doesn't really matter where we finish. I just want to have a bit of fun and also try to be very respectful in these 2 races. The last thing I wanted to do was barge people out of the way and carry on in a manner that I wouldn't be very proud of. So just trying to treat people with a lot of respect. There was a bit of a nudge there with I think Absinthe on the outside there, so that was unfortunate on my end. I was trying to keep this as humanly clean as possible, but a lot of people here, you can see, are struggling quite a lot with the handling of the F2 cars. I've got to say, these vehicles have a lot less downforce than what you expect them to have in F1. So it takes a bit of getting used to, hence the practice lobbies or the practice races that I did in the build up to this. We find ourselves in P5 already, which is a phenomenal start so far. Everyone has their assists on, by the way, so there's no excuses for everyone else in this lobby, but it did take a lot of getting used to. The braking zones are a lot longer, so you need to account for that. It's easy to lock up, understeer central, and actually quite easy to lose the back end as you get out of 2nd and 3rd gear. So a lot of things that you have to watch out for, a lot of different references from this car to the F1 car, which made it a very unique challenge, I'll say that much. But you can see the top 3 up ahead, all lagging, which I think is probably down to my internet more than anything. I don't think 3 individual people would all lag at the same time like that. That's too much of a coincidence. So I think my connection on the day wasn't the greatest. You can see P2 there running wide on the penultimate corner. It might give an opportunity for us to overtake him, or the guy in P3 who was my teammate who was trying to overtake him. He gets about to run out of the final corner, and we move ourselves up into the podium positions, sending the fast up of the Grand Prix along the way. But a nice little move there up the inside, and now into P2 in this French Grand Prix, and it looks like that illustrious win isn't too far out of the question now, as we only have one more car standing in our way between us and victory at Hubert's home Grand Prix. Let's see if we can do it for him. Nice run through onto the back straight. The second phase of that exit though wasn't quite as good and now we're on the back foot once again, but let's see if we can utilize a bit of slipstream and DRS to our favor. No fuel mixtures to play with in the F2 cars, so it is all down to the right foot to try and get a better exit. And there we go, up the inside. The work isn't quite done though, as we leave a lot of space on the left-hand side for Inferno to potentially go back through, but he didn't take that opportunity, and we stormed through into the lead of the French Grand Prix. So now at this point in the Grand Prix, 4 laps left in the race, just trying to establish as big of a lead as what I can, trying to utilize the pace in the car that we've got, setting a couple of fastest laps along the way. It's now the last lap of the Grand Prix. We built out like quite a handy lead at this stage, I think nearly 10 seconds. But on this last lap, I want to see if I can push even further to get into like the 46s and really establish our dominance in this race. Here we go through the final corner, driving in the Arden car. We're going to come away with a victory here in the French Grand Prix. My pace normally in the F2 cars isn't that fantastic, but we managed to get the W in this car. So there we go, our first, feature race in an F2 car, and we managed to come away with a victory. So that was really special to come away with that. So you can see we've changed our helmet to most look like Hubert's. Of course, like, you can't do it properly. I'm rubbish when it comes to modifying stuff, so I just tried to pick a helmet that was as closely represented in the game to what his was, and there we go. We have won in the Arden. So yeah, hopefully that is a drive that you guys enjoy. 10 seconds in the end to the next car behind, so pretty interesting to build out as much of a gap as what I did in such a short space of time. 1 minute 46.5, which is yeah, not bad. I previously thought I was really crap in the F2 cars, but maybe I'll have to rethink that. But now we're off to the final race of this video, the Monaco Grand Prix. Let's see how we do here.
We need you to give other cars as much space as possible today. There's likely to be trouble down into turn 1.
And trouble there may well be. Welcome, guys, to the Monaco Grand Prix. I think we're starting somewhere like P11 in this race, so right in the mid-pack in this Grand Prix. So you have to say that the trouble will most likely follow us. 5 red lights, and away we go for this Monaco Grand Prix. And it looks like a pretty good start for us, as a few people don't really move off the grid. The key to getting off the line in these cars is to absolutely floor the throttle, and the car will respond quite well, as opposed to an F1 car, which is interesting. But we find ourselves in P7 at the moment. A bit of carnage on this first lap. Yellow flags behind. People absolutely running wide at Casino Square. And thankfully, damage is off as we go around the outside of Kersey Racing there at Casino Square. Find ourselves in P5 now as we nearly wipe ourselves out on the outside barrier. But we're able to press on with our race. So yeah, decided to turn off damage. It's not an invitation for people to start barging people out of the way. It's just a bit of a safety net for those who may not be able to control the car, because I was noticing in the practice lobbies that there was a lot of people just going off, just misjudging how much potential there was in these cars. It's very easy to overstep the mark, as you can see by a lot of people who are just outbraking themselves, throwing the car into corners too fast, and more often than not, they find themselves looking a little bit silly. So key to these cars is really just to hold back a little bit and just focus on your exit. That's really all I can say. But we find ourselves in P3 already in this Monaco Grand Prix. This is quite the initiation into Formula 2 for a lot of these people, if this is their first time trying it out. It doesn't get any harder than this. We're trying to work over Piotrek here into the middle sector. He oversteps the mark as well, and we find ourselves in P2. It's yeah, it's been pretty brutal for everyone else around us, but it looks like this Venez guy who leads the Grand Prix is no slouch when it comes to driving these cars. He's my teammate as well, no less, so it's going to be a Arden face-off now for the two teammates to see who's going to come away with this Monaco Grand Prix victory. I've gone in a little bit too hot there into the Nouvelle chicane.
If you continue to
and
come.
yeah, that's a 2-second time penalty heading our way. I did notice, even in the practice race, it's very easy to overstep the mark in terms of track limits, because the F2 cars are so much thinner. You can't really mount the curbs as much as what you would think as an F1 car, and so it's easier to get pings that way, which I found in the sprint race earlier. But now this is the feature race, 25% length of full length F2 race. So yeah, not too much time to close in the gap. It was about 5 seconds, but it's now quickly coming in now by half a second a lap, I'd say, something like that, which is a lot in such a short amount of time. But I'm hoping that my outright consistency and pace is enough to rattle my teammates, and hopefully we can just continue to build the pressure and get to a point where we can attack him maybe in the final couple of laps. The difference is only 3 seconds now. I believe he's got 4 seconds worth of time penalties, and I think I've got 1 or 2 penalties myself at this point. So it's very, very even between the two of us. We need to do all the overtaking on track if we want to win this race. So the excitement levels are very, very high at this Monaco Grand Prix. P3 is 18 seconds back, so this is only going to be a 2-horse race in this Grand Prix. Very, very fast to very, very close to my previous fastest lap, but now you can hear the epic music is going on. It's getting serious now as we get to 2 laps, or 2 and a bit laps remaining in this race. The gap is literally nothing. We've got lap cars getting in the way. Hopefully there isn't any more who potentially spin out. We wouldn't want to have this battle spoiled after all this anticipation, after trying to chase this guy down since like lap 2 or 3 when we got into P2. We've spent all race trying to close him in, but now it all comes down to this. Let's see if we can do a little Alonso flick, try and fill up the mirrors and see if he goes into a little bit of a panic. But you know, despite all the pace that we've got, how much faster we are through the corners, it's still Monaco. It's still incredibly tough to overtake, so we need to be overly aggressive to force something, or on the other side of things, wait for a mistake. And given that there's 2 laps remaining in this Grand Prix, waiting for a mistake may not be an option. So we've got to pile on the pressure as much as we can, really close as we now run into Mirabeau, nose to tail for the 2 Arden teammates. Could have maybe thought about a dive up the inside into Lowe's, but decided to focus on a better exit. We can see we've got much better front end in this car. We're just hitting apexes a whole lot better, getting on the power quite well. We could maybe go for a dive up the inside into the Novo chicane. No, he covers that off. We're going to try and go around the outside. Hopefully he clips. No, he doesn't clip the inside barrier. He is a seasoned veteran, it seems, this Venez guy, just soaking up all the pressure like a sponge, and we are soaking up his rear wing as he lag switches us.
You've been awarded a time penalty for that last incident.
He is now bringing poor connection into the battle as a weapon to keep us behind. But now it is the last lap of the Grand Prix. Desperation is starting to seep in on my end. We lost a lot of time behind his lag switched car, and we got the 2-second time penalty at the end of the last lap. So now it's all coming down to this. We don't have too much time to get back in front of this guy. Literally half a lap. He runs wide, a Mirabeau, and we're into the lead of the Monaco Grand Prix. He has seeped or cracked under pressure, and we now find we are back in P2. I've just been clickbaited. I thought the race was mine, and it's just been cruelly taken away from me again. So here we go. Battle is back on for the lead of this race. Good thing he appeared when he did, otherwise I would have gone into cruise control, but now we can go full send. You know exactly where we're targeting. Raskas, dive up the inside, full send, and let's see if we can get as close as we can through the final chicane. He absolutely throws the car over, just like I would. We're going to go late on the brakes. No, he's gone in way too deep, and he's actually beached himself.
Yes, great job, excellent work. First place now, P1.
We've won the Monaco Grand Prix. Oh my goodness. What an absolute thriller. right down to the wire between myself and my Arden teammates. That has been this tribute to Anton Hubert. Hopefully I did you guys proud. I'm not going to ask for, likes, subscriptions, or anything like that. But if you do have a nice message to say down in the comments, I would encourage you to do that. At the end of the day, my intention is just to lighten the mood, because it has been a very dark weekend of motorsport. It was really nice to see Charles Leclerc win at Spa today. That was a really nice touch to see him dedicate his win to Hubert. Motorsport will never be safe, but I hope it continues to get better in that regard, and we can, who knows, potentially never see a death in motorsport again. That would be the aim. But yeah, I guess the message I could only send is, be careful out there, whether you are on a racetrack or on the roads, whatever it might be in life. Life is precious. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed. Regular content will continue from tomorrow. Check out my career mode videos if you haven't already. And yeah, motorsport lost a really young talent today, or yesterday. Hopefully it's the last.